as a football fan, I love to watch the games live on TV. But if I had the chance to go to the stadium and watch my favorite team play live, oh boy, I am taking the next flight.
I mean, me too. Me too, guys. Me too. But who wouldn't want that? The atmosphere, the fans, the excitement. Nothing beats being there in person.
We're gonna win. We're not afraid of Germany's team.
And while some players eventually end trials and contrasts, others encounter a darker side of football.
In the case of Omar Atan, critics argue that CAF should have spoken out, but this situation goes beyond sport. It's about power.
So the last time Africa hosted the World Cup was in 2010. Back then, the tournament felt very close to home, actually. I was very young at the time, but I still felt the vibe. You can feel a bit of that same euphoria this year with an unprecedented number of African nations qualifying for the tournament.
Indeed. And this is the first time that 10 African teams are participating. In Qatar, it was only 5. So this round is like double excitement. But there's also some real issues that we need to talk about in this show. And we'll also hear from someone who played football across different countries for solutions on things that need to change.
Welcome to the show. My name is Fatu Elika Muloshi.
And I am Rachel Nduati.
You know what? Before we dive in, what's your favorite World Cup song? They've got a couple, you know.
They've got a couple, but my favorite one is for sure Feel It. Got everything you need it.
Now bring it like you mean it. Just like you mean it. But there's also the one from DR Congo, actually. And I think it's really going viral.
That one is hard, Fatu.
Leopard, Tabeta Bango. Leopard, Tabeta Bango, Leopard, Tabeta Bango, Leopard, Tabeta Bango. It's always nice, you know, to see these moments, to have these moments. And I think the World Cup song just brings everyone together.
It really, really does. And it was also interesting to see, you know, the performances and the way they were, you know, done.
Yeah.
But also like the showing times were crazy. I know a couple of people who had to set their alarms, you know, to watch these cups.
You won't believe it. But, you know, we've been following, we've been enjoying,
100%.
But the fans have also been enjoying. So let's hear what they have to say. Of course, the World Cup, the games are ongoing. So, you know, the reactions are coming in as the teams play.
I'm very proud of the team. It was a very good performance. It was disappointing at the end because we could have scored. But I think they will qualify for the next round. We will win the next match.
It's difficult for them to come today because a lot of them didn't have the opportunities to come. But those who are there, we're gonna support the team.
We're gonna win. We're not afraid of Germany's team. They cannot beat us. We have the same chances as them.
It was great. Our expectations for the upcoming match against Saudi Arabia are the best. We believe that we will win.
They played well, and I have faith we'll go through to the next stage. With one more draw, we can already make it.
Considering that the Uruguay national team is a strong side and we are just starting out at the World Cup, I think it was a good result.
I was happy, though I wish we had won the game. But if we couldn't win, of course, I prefer the draw. With 2 points, we still have hope of getting through to the group stage.
Hey,
No,
look
a
at
lot is
that.
happening.
Look at that. Look at that. I mean, for me, I really related because, you know, this World Cup is very different, especially for African teams, because we previously had this underdog mentality. But if you look at those games now, it's like an equal playing field. If you looked at the way Cote d'Ivoire played Germany, for example, these were two teams that, you know, was entertaining, super entertaining, first of all, and also at the same time, they really showed up.
They did so well.
They really
and I
did
think
well.
countries like Ghana learned from that because, yes, they claim...
100%.
Yeah, they claim...
You're even wearing the Ghanaian...
Oh, yeah.
Hey, she's even wearing the Ghanaian jersey, guys.
I love the winning
She's
teams.
fangirling Ghana for sure.
But, you know, that is what happens. They came with a clear goal, and that is that they are going to be on the defensive from the first half right through the second half, and they were going to finish on a balanced scale. I would rather finish on a balanced scale than have the other team win. Something unprecedented is happening. We mentioned it in the beginning, 10 teams. This has never been seen before.
100%.
But I think a lot more can be done if only, people can show up more, fans can be allowed to go as well. And
there's a reason, and the reason we all know, that's the elephant in the room, which is the United States, which has made it very difficult for some fans to actually access these stadiums.
I was there, of course, in South Africa to talk to some fans about that.
Of course, there's no football without the fans. And a lot of the fans are struggling to go and watch the games live in the US. How do you rate this? Why do you think when it comes to football, Refilwe, the African fans are not getting the respect they deserve?
They are not getting the respect they deserve because, like I said, they are being undermined. You can't play football without supporters. Not many people can afford to go there from their own pockets. So I think the government as well is supposed to inject some money into it so that people can go and support. I mean, you watch the game against Mexico. You could barely see the Bafana jerseys around the stadium. So we didn't have much support as well.
Yeah, that's a bit tough, especially when you know that your team has qualified, but the fans can't even go. And you clearly even said, what is a game without its fans? Obviously, the situation in the United States does really make it very difficult, for these fans to even attend.
I always say that the African supporters have so much passion for this game, and you cannot also call for a global game and have entire groups of supporters effectively locked out because of visa restrictions, long waiting periods. I think these things are all a little bit so discouraging. And I was in South Africa for sure, and I saw the atmosphere there, and you can hear it from how they were speaking. They would have loved to see more support being given to their team. They would have loved to see more people going out there to show the support that they deserve. And we have a case here where an official
was excluded.
A FIFA official, and we've all seen this news where the Somali referee, Omar Atan, was restricted from entering the US.
You've seen the headlines. Africa's top referee, Omar Atan from Somalia, was denied entry into the United States despite being scheduled to officiate at this year's World Cup. FIFA has had something to say, but why is CAF, the Confederation of African Football, silent? More than 24 hours after the incident, FIFA President Gianni Infantino finally addressed the issue. His tone was almost dismissive. His message, there's nothing to worry about. In Infantino's words, these are not football problems. They are reflections of the world we live in today. And behind that statement lies a deeper reality. FIFA, and by extension CAF, doesn't control borders. They don't issue visas. They don't decide who enters a country. Those powers rest entirely with the host nation. In the case of Omar Atan, it's the US. So where does that leave CAF? Critics argue that CAF should have spoken out, but this situation goes beyond sport. It's about power. And the truth is, even a strongly worded statement from CAF would likely have changed very little. If anything, it could risk creating tensions with a World Cup host, a position football bodies would likely like to avoid ahead of a tournament of this magnitude.
Crazy. I mean, it was very devastating, but we did see that the people in, Somalia really received this guy as a hero, and they were like, you know what, just come back home, just come back home. They might refuse you here, but just come back home. And that was really interesting to see.
It makes sense because this person is the CAF FIFA referee of the year 2025. So you're talking about a continental winner, best at what he does, who is facing restrictions unrelated to his qualifications.
I feel like football really reflects the society that we live in today, the society of systemic exclusion, the society of discrimination in the sense that inequality.
But this is just a case of being restricted to enter. For the officiator, he probably would have everything catered for him if he goes in, visas, flights, accommodation. But what about the ordinary fan who might not be able to afford that? So because you don't just enter the US and watch the games, you have to pay.
We are having a situation of pricing of tickets. They are way, way beyond affordable to people from this continent. I'm talking about us. If I'm to go to World Cup now, my budget should be around what? 20,000 K of dollars. I'm not saying right. Dollars, yes. So that alone, it actually irks me.
Let me just come to you. Yes, Floyd. Is this now for the wealthy, the connected? Where does that leave the ordinary fan who just wants to enjoy the game?
I'm smiling because we're supposed to be debating, but we are agreeing instead. Look, who is it for? and he spoke about the budget. There was funny comments from the coach Hugo Bruce when he said we can't afford to have an Argentinian, the world champions, playing against us because we can't afford 100 million rands, which is plus minus 5 million euros. It's shocking. Where are the fans there? I don't even want to talk about them because now I'm talking about the experience on the pitch for the players. What investment are you doing for the future? He spoke about the under-23s. We haven't even touched about the under-12s, the under-13s, the 15s, the 17s, the 18s. It's shambolic.
That's the name. That's the word. Shambolic. It's a big word, but it's the name. You know, Fatu, I was looking at if you want to, for example, travel to DRC, from DRC to New York, for example, or New Jersey, to watch just one match. Guess how much you can pay? Plus flight tickets and all these costs. $4,000.
Look at that. We're talking about price tickets as low as 1,000 euros. And that's even maybe like some of the list prices you will get. It can go up to like 10,000, you know. And we also heard this thing about the dynamic pricing where as when many people go in to look for these tickets, the prices surge. And I'm wondering like, what is this? You know, what exactly is this? And I think for low-income countries, it is a bit discriminatory because they clearly cannot afford it.
They can't afford it. And we have, you know, currency exchange rates, for example. We have US visa fees. Like if you pay, you want to go to the United States, it's $185. And if you convert that, for example, into Kenya shillings or into, you know, Ugandan shillings, this is even more expensive. So the question is, who is this World Cup meant for?
Who is it meant for? Who's going there? And someone would say, I saw the comments where someone was, you know, commenting on some of our posts saying, if they don't want you there, just stay home and watch it at home. But again, I get the feeling that nothing beats going there and being there in person and experiencing that euphoria firsthand, especially when you know you can do that.
Absolutely. And, you know, Africa has really actually also come a major, long way to secure major spots in this tournament. So let's look at this report.
Yes, Fatu and Rachel. Actually, 10 African teams qualified for this year's World Cup. North African heavyweights Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and Algeria were joined by West African nations Ghana, Ivory Coast, and of course Senegal. And South Africa and the Democratic Republic of Congo also returned to the World Cup, while the Portuguese-speaking island of Cape Verde also joined the fray. For fans, it's been a difficult and expensive World Cup to access. High ticket prices, visa issues, and such big travel times between the different venues between the United States, Canada, and Mexico have been really criticized. On the field, it's already proving to be one of the most memorable World Cups ever for Africa because of all the nations represented. And we've already seen how Morocco, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and the DRC have impressed. Even tiny Cape Verde got in on the act, and they became the tournament's darlings with impressive displays against star-studded Spanish and Uruguayan opposition. Nowadays, though, Cape Verde is more the exception than the norm, because while skill and passion have never been in short supply, now a lot of the African teams are playing with structure, depth, and experience that we haven't seen at previous tournaments. In 2022, Morocco became the first African nation to reach the semi-final of the World Cup. So, will 2026 be the year that an African team goes one step further and wins it all? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Back to you, Fatu and Rachel.
Hey, if they manage to do that, if they bring this cup home and bring $50 million to their football associations, who wouldn't want that?
But you know, Rachel, I think it's doable.
Is it?
It's really possible. Like you mentioned, we've come a long way. Africa has come a long way to secure even these 10 spots.
Hey,
it was less in the past.
Yeah.
And this is a bloc that has a very high, you know, voting number in FIFA. I mean, I think Africa is the second. CAF is second to only UEFA.
Yes.
Because we're talking about 56 member countries. I mean, that's because 2 are already associates, so they can't vote. That puts them to 54, a little bit below UEFA. But we're talking about having that high number.
You know your football.
I try.
I'm just like, whoa, hey, you really know football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kai and Michael are listening. They can correct this, but I'm just trying to portray, you know, the number of presence they have at that level, but still they're like disproportionately affected with slots.
Yes.
But now with this high number of increased number of slots, we see that Africans can do it. At the end of the day, we know that Africa is proving its quality on the global stage. So with a little bit more push, I think they can do it, because countries like Nigeria this time around did not even make the cut.
They're really feeling it at the moment, I'm sure, because their neighbors, the other side, they have this jollof beef, but I used to think, but apparently now they also have a football beef that I actually had to
you didn't know
research.
about the football beef?
Well, I always thought it was like the rice thing, and now I'm finding, now it's even going beyond.
It's everything. It's music, it's
politics,
football, it's
everything.
everything.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering like how these Super Eagles are doing. Let's have a look at this report.
Do you think Ghana can actually go far at this World Cup? Which team? Ghana team. Which of the cups? The drinking water cup? I mean, which one?
Honestly, I'm actually happy Nigeria didn't make it to the World Cup.
Nigerians say Ghana is overrated. They are too individualistic in their team and too much ego.
Now we are here at the 2026 World Cup. Where is Nigeria?
So now I want to ask Nigeria, what odds more, losing a football match or Ghana reminding you about it?
I prefer to lose the football match.
They were not at the Nations Cup. They haven't really done. They were just they qualified, yes, but I don't really see them doing much. Africa is still waiting for its first World Cup winner. So I am asking, what is holding African football back? It's corruption. Serious. Imagine a Senegalese team that is doing well, unbeaten for a long period of time. You telling them one day that they are not winners of the competition, that some other team won it. Those things, you are creating division among the African teams.
Africa, in its sense, is the most talented, continent as far as football is concerned. We had to, build the capacity of the players. So you see the players with fine talent, you try nurturing them, then they get to a stage where they lack the support, the science and data to back whatever they are doing.
And then there is another challenge, talent migration, or as some fans might call it, Africa's football brain drain. Why are so many players with African roots choosing to represent European national teams instead of African countries? Africa has the players, Africa has the passion, Africa has the fans. The question is, when will Africa finally turn all of that into a World Cup winning team?
When, Fatu? When? I mean, we could hear from, the Super Eagles giving fans, the Super Eagles fans. And at the same time, like, we have so many problems as a continent when it comes to football development. It's actually not the same. And we even discussed this earlier when we were talking about, the logistical issues, the fact that there's mismanagement even in the clubs, and there's a lot of things that go wrong sometimes in African football.
I do think Nigeria, for example, does not have a talent problem. I mean, they've got very elite players there. You're talking about their retired captain who was playing in the defense.
Yeah.
He retired last year, Trusikon, as the highest scoring defender. Yeah, and at the end of the day, we can't deny Africans' influence in global football. Have you seen those of dual nationalities as well, and just how they're excelling in international football?
100%. And, some of them have African heritage. For example, we have Kylian Mbappe, we have Julius Kounde. I hope I pronounced that correctly because it's a hard name. But yeah, for sure. And we also have someone else who you're going to see. His name is Jonathan Tah.
I grew up as a German in Germany, but through my father I picked up a bit of the culture. I feel connected to the country. A World Cup is something special, and I'm delighted to be at my first. It means a great deal to me. You can only reach your full potential by working hard and not relying on talent alone. It was a positive experience. It's a source of pride to also have support there. I felt the love and affection from the people there. I went to places where maybe not every tourist would visit, and I felt that it gave them hope and made them feel seen.
That was really nice how he was with the kids over there.
It's so cute.
So cute, so cute. But I mean, we obviously know that, people with different nationalities, like dual nationalities, really make an impact also in European football. And especially those ones also who have like African descent, for example, Kylian Mbappe, and for example, the former French player, I don't know if he's former because I'm not that good at football like you, Fatu, of course.
I try.
But like Paul Pogba was also like, a Frenchman, of course, but he had African roots. But guys, how about you? Let's say you have two nationalities. For example, maybe you're an African and then you're also a European, and you're given this chance to choose which nationality you actually want to play for. Which one would you choose?
Let us know in the comments, because we like to take on this conversation as much as we want. So let's see what work you have to put in when you want to get to that level of even making a choice.
Yeah.
When most people think about football, they think about the match day, the goals, the celebrations. But before any player reaches that stage, comes years of training. I am at Liberty Academy in Accra, one of Ghana's most successful football talent factories.
I'm Gabriel Akabi, a player of Dansman Liberty Sporting Academy, and this is my hustle.
So today, in this episode of My Hustle, it will take me through on what it takes to become a football player.
You have to be fit, you have to be mentally sound.
How often do you train like this?
Oh, I do train like this twice a day and like 10 times in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I've made plenty sacrifices, but I'll say the one always that helped me a lot that I've lived from my family and chasing my dreams over here. I love my family very much. Yeah, so that's the hardest sacrifice I've made.
What age do you live on?
I left home around 10 years, yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges young footballers face in building their professional career?
When they go out there for trials, the kind of training programs and training schedule that they go through, they don't have the same thing here.
And why some players eventually end trials and contracts. Others encounter a darker side of football. False promises, fake agents, and costly scams. After training, it is finally time for a real test, a match, because everything I have learned today means nothing if it can't be applied on the pitch.
Football is a highly physical game. And if you really want to excel at it, you have to put in the work. You have to go to training. You have to eat well. You just have to be in the right space.
People think it's a lot of prestige.
Yeah.
Like you see, for example, Neymar or Messi, and you think, whoa, these people are here. But it took a lot of, hard work, a lot of effort, humble beginnings. It takes a village. And it also starts from the very grassroots level, you know, and I think this is what we need to do also, like as African people. We need to start from the very beginning when these kids are even encouraging your child. If the child says, I want to play football, in an African household, say, I want to support this child to play football and then empower them at the end of the day.
We spoke to Jordan. Of course, he was also part of the street debate in South Africa. And we had him send to us what he thinks can work better, not only for South Africa, but for African football.
5 things I believe will help grow more talented young African players is, number 1, the local clubs across Africa need to stop fighting one another internally in terms of youth and whatnot, and should actually help build each other together. Number 2, I feel like we should have more qualified coaches, more coaches that are that have their CAF D license, their CAF C license, their CAF B license, and so on, because not only do they learn, not only will they teach the boys their own knowledge, but knowledge from FIFA. Thirdly, I believe that the investments that go into the clubs or that go into the local clubs for football specifically actually need to go in, because it's a thing of money. The government gives the football associations the money, but then the high-ups take it and it disappears and it doesn't actually go to the players or to the clubs. And that also leads to my 4th point, which is we need to build better infrastructures. The clubs need to build, we need to have more improved pitches and whatnot, and that only happens and that'll only work if the investments actually come. And last but not least, I believe that us as African boys, we have the flair, we have the skill. We just need to work on the mental side of football and the physical side of football.
We really need to nurture young talent in the continent and also try to prevent the leg drain thing where, all the good players are playing elsewhere, but they're not playing in our,
Make
in our
it work
continent.
for them. Make it work
and
for
maybe
them.
next time Kenya can actually also, be part of it. But guys, sadly, we have come to the end of this show. This show was really interesting. I really learned a lot.
Yeah,
about
and
football
I enjoyed
from
South Africa.
Because Fatu is really good at football. But guys,
maybe the energy was from South Africa as well
Yes.
because they love the game a lot. I mean, even though things are not in order in some places, but they have also their rugby, so a lot is happening.
For sure.
And we did enjoy as well our time. I brought some kilishi as well.
What did you bring
Kilishi.
from South Africa?
Kilishi.
But you did buy me earrings, guys. So, so anyway, which team are you supporting for the World Cup? Talk to us on our social media platforms.
Yes.
We're really hoping that these guys bring this cup to our continent.
Fingers crossed. Let's hope not to die. Thank you so much for watching. See you another time. Bye-bye.
Bye.